Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
You know, Tom, one of the things that we deal with clients all the time is the transitional housing going out of their homes and sometimes into continuing care retirement communities, sometimes assisted living facilities, and sometimes directly to a nursing home. These people are confronted with contracts all the time, and those contracts are really quite daunting as you look at them.
Absolutely. They usually are thick, and they have lots of tight legalese words and things like that. So it's important to be familiar with them and know what you're getting into, because that is going to be the agreement as to the terms of your living conditions for the foreseeable future.
And one of the interesting things about it is particularly the continuing care retirement communities. They're regulated by the state. They also have regulations from the feds that impact what those contracts can say. And ironically, sometimes those contracts create an illusion that you are giving up rights that you in fact are not giving up.
That's a good point. You always have those legal rights and contractual rights, and they're unstated rights that you always have to different public benefits and your ability to apply and receive those.
And so you'll see in the continuing care retirement communities, particularly the faith-based organizations, which we certainly appreciate the efforts that they have, but they many times have some sort of a benevolence that will pick up and cover for people who run out of money. But the reality is they're primarily only covering people in their cottages and in their assisted living, because all of the local-based, faith-based ones accept Medicaid.
That's a good point. People become concerned that they think that they've got to go broke in a nursing home and then that benevolent fund will pay for it. In reality, the benevolent fund isn't paying. It's usually a Medicaid program or something like that.
And so while Medicaid is an integral part of virtually every facility in our viewing area, the reality of it is that they're really using those charitable dollars to pay for those services that Medicaid typically does not pay for, which is going to be cottages, apartments, and assisted living.
That's a good point, because sometimes it all gets mashed together and it's hard to differentiate the different flavors that you have. But you're right, that's there's a way of paying for each segment of the care.
And these facilities legitimately have an interest in people not divesting themselves of resources when they accepted the person into the facility on the premise that they would keep them indefinitely. And they oftentimes have some restrictive language in there about that you can't make transfers and so forth. And those are applicable at those lower levels of care.
That's a good point, because people think that making a gift or things like that is absolutely prohibited, but in fact it's prohibited for the purposes of qualifying for support through that benevolent fund in the areas where there is no other public benefit to pay for it.
And we think the facilities have a legitimate interest in doing that, because when they made the commitment to keep the person indefinitely into the face of perhaps no government benefits available, they have legitimate interest in saying, don't be giving away resources so that we can have to private pay you through our benevolence.
Exactly, and I think we harp on those issues all the time about gifting and things just done in a random knee-jerk way, because as you pointed out in the past, many of the services out there are all private pay. There's no government benefit to pay for it.
But one of the ironies is that language then creates an impression that if a person's headed to a nursing home, they are not permitted to do Medicaid planning.
Yeah, good point, because then the game changes. And then in that case, we're looking to pursue benefits that absolutely permit transfers and things of that sort between spouses, children, all types of things. And the secret and the magic is keeping the facility paid.
You know, and we're really committed to keeping them paid because those lower levels of service, they're providing a benefit to the client. They do not have to qualify them for the benevolence, and so we encourage clients to comply with the terms of the contract until they're in the nursing home, at which point they don't have to any longer.
That's exactly right. And then there is an alternative source of payment, but you have to do things properly, especially for married couples. And so if you play the game well, and meaning that you follow the rules and the agreements you've entered into with the facilities, it works out fine.
And in the meantime, when they do become eligible for Medicaid, then you're not restricted on your ability to take full advantage of the rules and the benefits that are available to you.
Exactly, and it's your right, and that's one of those unstated rights that you certainly can pursue.
And so we encourage people to realize that no matter where you are in this process, you still need to seek qualified counsel to be certain that you understand where your rights fit. And sometimes the language that you're seeing there doesn't exactly mean what you think it means.
And that's where counsel can sort out the differences and explain the nuances.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance orders to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Save Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to a special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Allie Sirbaugh, Communications Director, Community Foundation of Washington County. Welcome to the show, Allie.
Thank you so much for having me today.
You know, Allie, whenever we talk about community foundations, one of our great challenges is to communicate to the public what a community foundation is.
Yes, that is it. We do a lot of different things, but our main purpose is to help donors reach their charitable goals. And so when I say that, we have donors who come in and they create a fund. It can be something very specific for a specific nonprofit, or it can be a field of interest where you pick, what area you're interested in and want to give your money to, and we really just try to help you reach your charitable goals.
And one of the differences is the general mission of the Community Foundation is to create endowed dollars, but we do not want to say it's our only thing, because we'll do almost anything that a donor wants that makes sense.
Correct.
But on the other hand, as long as it's legal and it's for a charitable purpose,
right.
Not creating a scholarship for your child to go to college.
Right.
But in some sort of a generalized support, we're there to help. But oftentimes people don't like the thought of they spend a lifetime accumulating their money and then make a gift to a charity and have them spend it all in 1 year. What does the Community Foundation do that's different in that regard?
We like to say it simply that we're more like a savings account. So you put your money into a fund at the Community Foundation, and then it's the interest and the earnings from the donation that you made that is distributed to the charitable cause. So whether it's to your church, and you can give them money every year for forever. And so that's the best part, is that you are creating a legacy and you are able to help out, whether it's your church, like I said, or a specific nonprofit, or it can be a specific field if you just want to help education or arts and culture or something like that.
All right, so basically 1997 when the organization was started.
Yes.
How much money did you have in 1997?
In 1997, we had one fund that was worth $9,000. And a little over 20 years later, we have almost 300 funds, and it's worth close to $40 million.
All right, because the public likes that thought. And one of the interesting things is do you have to make those gifts during lifetime?
No, you don't. You can create a legacy fund, and so you can come in and go ahead and tell us, where you would like the fund to go, but not have it created until after you've passed away.
And oftentimes people say, I want to keep my money until I don't need it anymore, which means when I die. And
right.
So many times they're communicating on this, but lots of times the main funding of it may not occur until a person has passed.
Correct, correct.
And basically, we say it's donor driven. Now, what the heck does that mean?
That means that we will do pretty much what you said, as long as it's legal. No, we vet a lot of the nonprofits, so we know, what nonprofits have 501c3s, and we will follow your wishes even after you have passed away. So if you have a fund that you've created ahead of time, that you have been giving money out from every year, we will continue to follow your wishes even after you have passed away.
And one of the interesting challenges is there's charities out there that are clearly transitory, not that their mission is transitory, but they're driven by personalities. They may cease to exist into the future, but oftentimes another one will spring out of the ashes that's doing the same thing. So you could use that fund to support a specific one initially, but be available to support a successor organization in the future.
Yes, correct. Or if you just would like to create a fund and not have a specific purpose for it in
say
terms
for
of
youth or scholarships for needy students, it could say anything.
Right, correct, it can. And we also have community funds where we give grants away from that every year that just help a lot of different nonprofits in the area. But you can create a scholarship or you can create a specific fund, as I mentioned.
And oftentimes people think accumulation of the assets is the sole goal of the community foundation. It is a goal, of course, but the community foundation in its 20 years has given away about how much money?
We've given away about $18 million in grants and scholarships. So we've given a lot back into the community, which is awesome.
So it's grown in the face of significant amounts of contributions, and we encourage people that have what I call unspecified charitable goals. They're looking, they want to do something to benefit the community, but they can't figure out how to do it. They ought to call and sit down with the Community Foundation and see maybe there's a way that you can fulfill their goals.
Right, right. They can call us at 301-745-5210. And for those who are tech savvy, we have a great website that lists a lot of information, and that's just www.cfwcmd.org. We're more than happy to have anybody come and stop by. We're just a couple doors down from the Maryland Theater and across from Bulls and Bears, so we have a pretty prominent office now on Potomac Street downtown, so you can just feel free to come by and talk to us and get some more information.
Allie, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on our program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Come on, Dad, let's go! We're gonna be late! Hurry!
Just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com. If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is John Kenny, Washington County Department of Social Services Program Manager, Adult Services. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
John, you're on the health scene, and oftentimes people think that we should be talking about medical diagnosis and so forth, but one of the great problems in dealing with the retirement community is self-neglect. Now, what the heck do I mean by that?
Well, self-neglect is a situation in which someone is not meeting their own care needs, their own basic needs, and usually due to a disability of some type. Could be a combination of mental and physical disabilities, could be social isolation, dysfunctional family can also cause self-neglect.
It's kind of interesting. Adult Protective Services, which is part of what you're working with and you supervise, is obviously very concerned about potential for financial or physical abuse. But the irony is that hits the newspapers all the time, but the reality, the vast majority of the cases you're working with is self-neglect.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. Most of the cases involve a person not getting their basic needs met. And we receive reports about that from a variety of sources, medical community, oftentimes family and friends, neighbors of the person call us and let us know that they're concerned about what's happening with the person. And what we do is we then assign one of our Adult Protective Services case managers to make a home visit, try to communicate with other people that are involved with the person or could be involved with helping the person, and try to develop a plan with the individual to meet their care needs. Sometimes that requires some salesmanship on our part to talk a person into accepting some helps that maybe they would rather not need but actually do need, and sometimes we have to rely on the other people in their sphere of community of friends, you might call it, or family, to help with coaching them into agreeing to get some help in the home or getting some services provided or applying for some helps. So yes, over half of our Adult Protective Services cases at any given time involve self-neglect.
Now, I know sometimes people say, well, I don't want to get involved. Do they have to have their name as a part of reporting the person potentially needing services?
No, they don't. They can call in at any time, and we can maintain confidentiality for that person. Sometimes that can create an annoying conversation with the person we're going out to see because they'd like to know who turned them in, but it's confidential and would require a court order to do so.
All right, and one of the challenges here is that many times these people just do not acknowledge the level of the services they need. It seems okay to them, but in fact their life circumstances deteriorating around them.
Yes, that often happens. I think because most of the time it's a kind of a gradual change, and so the person themselves doesn't really realize that the level they have gotten to. And a lot of times people would like to deny problems rather than actually deal with them. So sometimes they're kind of living in a fantasy of their own development, and it is difficult sometimes to get the person to really realize, the risks they're running.
And so oftentimes when we're working with a person that has these kinds of issues, sometimes it is financial, and I know that the department has some goals to try to help people deal with some of the financial constraints of trying to stay in their home.
Oh, absolutely. We try to help the person apply for any benefits that they're eligible for, to look at things to see if there's any way they can reduce costs. We might be able to arrange for some services for them at no cost to them, and we're very good at helping them apply for supplemental nutrition assistance program, medical assistance, other types of things. We work in conjunction with the Commission on Aging, which has a benefits checkup, and will also assist people in applying for benefits.
And probably one of the biggest single urban myths in terms of dealing with the retirement community is the perception that you want to get people out of their homes.
We absolutely would like to keep people in their own homes in the least restrictive environment as long as possible, as long as that is safe and we can arrange for adequate protections and care needs of the person. We're determined to keep the person in their home environment.
So it's not to deprive them, but in fact to try to support them in the environment that they would prefer to stay in.
That's absolutely correct. Sometimes very ironic because the person's afraid you're trying to place them into a long-term care facility when in fact you're trying to prevent them from having to go in prematurely.
John, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on our program.
Thank you. Can you run
more for contemporary retirement after these messages?
The Community Foundation continues to create great impact in Frederick County thanks to generous donors. As our community evolves, so do we. While we don't have a real crystal ball that can predict the future, we are poised and ready to see things differently and help nonprofits, city and county agencies, civic groups, faith-based organizations, businesses, families, and individuals to solve problems within our community.
Albright Crumbacker Mal and Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on contemporary retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today, Sandra Miller, Senior Vice President at the Family Heritage Trust Company. Welcome to the show, Sandra.
Thanks for inviting me, Michael.
You know, trust company, people immediately think that means you have to have a trust in order to do business with the trust company.
No, it doesn't. You don't have to have a trust. We manage money, but if you need a trustee, we have a charter that allows us to be the trustee for your money. But we do a lot of investment management for a variety of accounts, not just your money, but 401k dollars and special needs trusts. So we do have a variety of services, not just acting as trustee.
So if you were doing pure investment advisory or perhaps managing somebody's IRA account for them, do they have to have a trust?
No, they don't. They don't need to have a trust. It's actually a document, and they don't need to go and get that.
And do they have to pay a lawyer to write a fancy document for them to be able to just use their account, essentially purely investment advisory?
Not at all, not at all. There's no necessary document required.
And are they restricted in their access to the resources?
No, we provide full access to all of our clients, regardless of whether they have a trust or not.
And so if you're doing investment advisory, there's a little bit of limitation. It might take you about 3 business days to fully liquidate an account for them, but that's as far away as they are from their money.
That's right. It's much like with a brokerage account where you actually sell something and there's a limitation on the number of days it takes to settle. But in our case, it's about 3 days, and you give us a call on Monday, and by Thursday the account has transferred the money to your bank account, and you have full and total access.
So no limitations, no perception like if I got to have some document that limits my access to the resources.
That's correct. Total liquidity.
Now, you know, when you're dealing with a lot of these investment advisors, you have a real tough time figuring out what the fees are.
That's correct, because a lot of the investment advisors are selling product that have embedded fees that clients really are not made aware of. So clients often think that they're not paying a fee. We have an annual fee that we charge for all of our services, which is one fee only, and any number of services that you want to take advantage of, we provide that, and that's covered by the fee.
And how about the hidden charges?
We don't have any hidden charges. We fully disclose the fee up front so you know what you're getting when you get in. And we don't charge any fees in advance. We charge you as you use our services. So month to month, you can be with us 2 or 3 months. You will only pay 2 or 3 months worth of fees.
And so the initial investment is fully invested, no reduction for upfront commissions, and no charges coming out other than just the month-to-month management fee.
That's correct. We try to be as transparent as possible, and we put your money to work. The full dollar amount that you give us goes fully into any investments we make for you.
And so the reality is the trust company only make money because it manages a whole truckload of money for people, not trying to make payroll off a single account.
That's exactly right. So it's incumbent upon us to make your money grow so that our fees on that money will continue to provide you with the services that you're asking.
I think you're making a very important point here. The only way that you can get an increased fee is the account has to grow. You don't get any additional fees.
That's right. We don't charge a fee for this product or that product. We charge it on the account value, the market value of the account. So if the market value goes up, the fee goes with that. If the market value goes down, the fee goes with that as well.
And unlike a lot of people that have mutual funds through brokerage operations and so forth, the fees at the trust company, as your account balances increase, have the potential to go down.
Yes, there are what we call break points. So the larger the account value, there are certain points at which the amount of money above that point is charged a lower fee.
And so it's reflective of the fact that in the end, you're not doing as much work for the second $500,000 you did for the first $500,000, and so they get a lower rate.
That's exactly right.
And so we encourage people that, you know, they somehow think that it's more expensive to deal with the trust company. What they really don't realize is the embedded fees that they're not seeing are almost always significantly higher.
Yes, I think if you sat down with pencil and paper and calculated what are called expense ratios on all of those mutual funds that they own, they would find that they are paying as much or more than if they were with a trust company that charges an annual fee.
And the difference is, what's your duty to the client?
Well, we are known as a fiduciary, and what that means is we have to act in the best interest of the client, not in our best interest. And so under the law, if there's an investment that you have already and it's appropriate for you, we don't make you sell it just to get into an investment that we might suggest to you. But we will certainly suggest investments that are appropriate for you and not necessarily making us money. So.
And how can they get a hold of you?
They can call us in Frederick, which is where our main office is, at 301-631-5900. And they can also call us toll-free, which is 855-869-5900.
Sandy, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
My pleasure, Michael.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.